What's up, everybody? It's Darkstrider, the YouTube assassin, and a lot of people have been asking me as we get closer to seeing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. A lot of people have been asking me, what is on my list of questions that I have? I keep saying that I have a list of questions and things that I need answers to. So people want to know what answers I need, and what questions go with them. What's going on? So I'm going to give you my 10 biggest, I think at the moment, my 10 biggest questions that I have in regards to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, just so that we're all on the same page, from what we know so far, okay, it takes place 400 years before the events of, Bayek in Egypt, and you get to play as either a female or male mercenary, Cassandra or Alexios. What we know is that this person that you pick is supposed to be the grandchild of Leonidas, the legendary Spartan who fought in the Battle of 300. Okay? And somehow you get a hold of a spear known as the Spear of Leonidas, which we already know is an Isu artifact, and it actually has some kind of power. You're going to be using it in place of everything to do with the hidden blade. There's no hidden blade. You're going to be running around with this spear. Hopefully it has some awesome gameplay. We'll see what happens. As you play throughout the game, your choices will basically take care of what happens at the end of the game. There'll be several endings, and depending on the choices you made, that's what happens when you get to the end. Okay, so you may have some people in your crew, you may not have some people in your crew, you may have a certain love interest, and it all depends. Okay, so I mean, I'm not even going to get into how crazy that is, because people are actually losing their minds over the whole changing history thing, but that's a debate for another video. Okay, basically what people want to know is, what questions do I have in regards to this, in regards to what's going on in the game, the gameplay, the story, and things of that nature. So now that we have a basic rundown of what the game is about, here go my top 10 of what I want to see, or questions that I need answered. So here we go. So right away at number 10, I need a couple of real world loose ends tied up. Okay, at the end of the game, we know that Layla is with Bill. They're waiting for a helicopter to extract them from this area. She's going to go with the assassins, not necessarily to join them, but to go and continue her work with her animus. But my questions are, what are they going to do with the mummies of Bayek and Aya? I know that this is not going to be a Bayek sequel, but the thing is, why would you leave these mummies behind? Why would you leave this information behind for the Templars to gain access to? You already saw what happened when they just left Desmond behind. I didn't understand the whole point of that either. They left Desmond behind after he died. The Templars came, they took Desmond, and they just got a treasure trove of information. So, I mean, why would you do that? Are you going to do that here? Hopefully they take these two mummies with them, instead of allowing the Templars to just come and, just take them and do what they want with their corpses and whatnot. It's really disrespectful that they would allow something like that to happen. And then on top of that, even if they don't want to take the mummies, if they just want them to rest in peace, why not blow up the tunnel? Why not blow up the cave? Why not destroy it so that there's no access to it? They got to do something. If they're just here for Layla and the Animus, I'm just going to be blown away. On top of that, I want to know what's going on with Layla and the assassins. I know that, she's going to be doing a lot of work. There's supposed to be a lot of present day gameplay. I heard a rumor about 30 hours or something. We'll see what happens. We'll see what goes on with the Animus. Hopefully, she actually joins the assassins or helps them out, or something. I would like to see something come of that. But most definitely, I want to know what's going on with those mummies, and what are their plans to do with all the information that they got on Desmond. I mean, that's just absolutely incredible. Like, are they gonna, you know, like, go and do something about that? Because so far, you know, the Templars are coming out on top. The Templars have a lot of information, and it would just really be, you know, stupid of them to just let them have that, and let them have Bayek and Aya, and delve into those memories, and kind of uncover and unravel the origins of the assassins themselves. It may give the Templars the upper hand. So I need to know what they're going to do about this. So coming in at number 9, and this is from a technical standpoint, what kind of support is Ubisoft going to give Assassin's Creed Odyssey? When Origins came out, they said that they were going to totally dedicate all these resources and everything. They were going to continue to give us events. They were going to do all these great things and whatnot. And, you know, all we really got was the trial of the gods. And it didn't go beyond that. You know, they just left us in the dark. I would like to see some more support. I would like to see more, even if it's like short stories or events or something. You know, the Trials of the Gods was a lot of fun and whatnot. But the thing is that, in my opinion, that's not, you know, giving a lot of support to the game. You know, you know, it was a fun diversion. Still kind of upset that it had nothing to do with Juno, even though initially those things showed like Juno, you know, errors or something like that. That's what they were showing. So, you know, for them not to have something like that, you know, that kind of stunk. You know what I'm saying? Their other IP, Far Cry 5, has seen a lot more support, where they're having events every single week. And, you know, recently they just recycled a couple of events. And, you know, even that is more support than what we got for, you know, Assassin's Creed Origins. So going forward in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I would like to see a couple of more events, even if they're one-shot events. You know, I'd like to see something happening, you know, not necessarily holiday events, because, you know, holidays are, you know, just like goofy little things that like people do every once in a while. And that's more of an MMO kind of thing. And I know that Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's going to be an RPG, but it's not an MMO, obviously. You know, but I would like to see some sort of support where they're giving us events, they're giving us more things, they're giving us, you know, these really cool items that we could collect and everything, but not saturate us with something where, you know, kind of like Far Cry is doing, where it was weekly and they just ran out of ideas. You know, even if it's every 2 weeks, that's fine. Even if it's a grand event like the Final Fantasy crossover, that's fine. You know, crossover with some of your other IPs if you don't want to do a Final Fantasy crossover, you know, or do some kind of event or something, you know, something that would just be really cool, something that will attract us even when the game is old. You know, Assassin's Creed, it died out, Origins died out, you know, halfway through the year that it was out. It hasn't even been out a year. And, you know, it died out like maybe 6 months later, after there was nothing else to do with the Trial of the Gods. Once all the DLC came out, you know, there really was nothing to do. They gave us the New Game Plus and everything, which was cool. I actually was really, really happy that Ubisoft was listening to the fan base, and that was cool and all. But, you know, give us more. Give us some other things. You know, give us, you know, we wanted like, you know, a little more Aya. We wanted to see more Aya battles or backgrounds, or even a mini DLC. Give us something, man. You could still make money off of stuff like that. Even if you gave us like a $5 Aya DLC, you know, I'm pretty sure that like some people would have absolutely loved it. You know, let's give a little more support. Let's get a little more support out of this game. We're supporting you, the players. We're coming and we're buying your game, and we're telling people how great your game is and everything like that. But you got to give us more. You can't give us stuff that, you know, we're going to get bored after like 6 months or after the DLCs come out. We need more. So what kind of support are you going to give us? So at number 8, and I hate to beat a dead horse because I know a lot of you know that like this has been on my mind since Odyssey was announced. What is up with Darius? That's one of the things I need to know. Okay? According to the history timeline that is in this work of fiction, okay, Darius used the Hidden Blade to kill Xerxes, okay? Xerxes, his reign was during 486 to 465. So that means that, just so that you guys know, history works backwards when it's BCE. Okay, so 10 BCE, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, year 1. All right? And then it goes, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 2018. All right? The problems that I'm having here is that, first of all, what we're doing in Odyssey takes place in the Peloponnesian War, okay, which was from 431 to 404 BC. Long, long war, almost 30 years. That's crazy. So this is pretty much 30 years after the death of Xerxes, in which Darius supposedly killed him. Now, Xerxes, in case none of you know, he was the person who opposed Leonidas. If you watch the movie 300, it kind of tells like this outrageous kind of telling of what happened and stuff like that. It was a pretty cool movie. Go watch it. But, that will give you the gist of what's going on. And Xerxes is the big metal, lanky guy, the one with all the gold and everything like that. So, according to the Assassin's Creed timeline, Darius kills Xerxes. Okay? And he uses the hidden blade. It's the first time the hidden blade is used. In Assassin's Creed Origins, when Aya hands the blade to Bayek, she even echoes that it was the blade that ended Xerxes' life. Okay? So, my problem is, if that is true, and we are playing as the grandchild of Leonidas, who was apparently avenged by, a stranger back in, 30 years ago, why don't we know about this? Granted, here you are, you're handed the spear of Leonidas. Why weren't you also handed a hidden blade and told that, your grandfather was inadvertently avenged accidentally by this guy who just happened to have some kind of crazy shirt knife that would come out and cut people? Why weren't you told of this story? Why weren't you given this information? During the events of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it is prophesized that you're supposed to bring destruction or whatever, and your father, tosses you off a cliff or something like that. We've all seen the cutscenes and stuff like that. But before that, when your mother is handing you the spear of Leonidas, why didn't she tell you about this? 30 years, it's a long time, but it's still not long enough where we wouldn't have at least heard this story, even if we weren't handed the hidden blade. This game, Odyssey, is making no use of the hidden blade from what we've seen. Everything points to we're just using the spear of Leonidas. So we had an opportunity to actually receive the hidden blade, but we don't even hear a story about this man who avenged their grandfather. Maybe not on purpose. He didn't really mean to do it. He just went and he killed this guy's enemy. Maybe it was his enemy too. There was a reason that he killed him. So we hear nothing about that. I'm pretty sure your grandparents tell you stories about when they're younger, or your parents will tell you stories about when your grandparents were younger. Bread, milk, and eggs were all a nickel, like things like that. So I don't understand why something so significant will be kept away from our ears. That just makes me think and wonder. And I really want to know what's going on with this. Because it's just, it's a little too funky not to have in this timeline. Speaking of things that, aren't in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, why are we mercenaries? I get that, we were thrown from, a mountain or whatever. It was prophesized that we would be, like some kind of great evil, or we would, destroy our father or whatever. But why mercenaries? Why are we a mercenary? It's called Assassin's Creed. I mean, I guess Assassin's Creed Origins was the origin of it all, and it would kind of make no sense to like go and become an assassin. I don't know. I don't know. It just it to me it sounds weird. It makes no sense that, you know, it's the Assassin's Creed series. We start off as a mercenary. I know that like we could get hoods and stuff like that, but I can't see a Roman or a Spartan soldier running around with a, you know, a hood. It doesn't look right, you know. So we're a mercenary, and it kind of explains some stuff, you know, like some of it can be, you know, just passed off because, hey, you know, we had a rough life, we grew up a certain way, and we became a mercenary. I could see that. And, you know, we even become a soldier. I could see that. But, you know, I don't know. Like, they really have to explain this mercenary thing to me. I really need to know how we make the connection from the assassins to, or from mercenaries to the assassins. You know? I mean, just like the other characters that are in the Monterione basement, maybe they're spiritual ancestors, and they just consider them, you know, some kind of a spiritual ancestor to what the Assassin's Creed became. But at the same time, like, the story is so far off, they gotta make a connection between them, and I hope it's more than just the Isu technology. But I have a feeling it's just going to be the Isu technology. It's not going to be anything past that. It's just going to be all about the Spear of Leonidas, and, you know, we're not really going to make a connection. These guys are just mercenaries, and, you know, it's kind of like a side mission, like, hey, I'm looking into these guys' DNA because they had some contact with Isu technology. But then, does that open the door for us just running rampant with other stories that have nothing to do with the assassins, other than the present day assassins are exploring these possibilities? You know, we got to make some kind of connection. That just, it makes no sense to me. It's kind of weird. So at number 6, I have the Templars. I want to know more about the Templars. Do they even exist at this time? Are they even in this game? What are their goals? I kind of have a feeling that Odyssey is veering away from a lot of common ground that we're used to. Like, you know, the whole, besides, you know, the Hidden Blade and stuff like that, the whole Templar thing. Like, where are the Templars? Do we have them? Are they in the game? You know, will we be battling them? Are they out to get something? I have a feeling that the only link that we're going to have in this game to other games is the Isu technology that Layla Hassan is going to be searching for. And that's the whole reason she's going into the Animus and looking for this kind of stuff. Because supposedly she finds a book, and, you know, the book is written by, I forget the guy's name, but, you know, he has all this information and everything, and he talks about the Spear of Leonidas, and supposedly, you know, it's an Isu artifact, the way it's described. So, I mean, are we racing against time, against the, you know, the Templars in the present day? Or are we just skipping the Templars altogether? I mean, I really don't see a place for them in the past if they're in ancient Greece. You know, especially if they're like 400 years before the events of Assassin's Creed Origins. You know, I could see around the time of Origins where they were, you know, like forming and stuff like that. Or maybe they're even like older than that. Who knows? But the thing is that I just don't know, and I need an explanation as to where the Templars fit in and what are their goals. Those are questions that I really need answered, because the Templars, you know, they've always existed as long as the Assassins have existed in this series. So it would just be really weird to have a game without any Assassins or, I mean, it's not going to have assassins right now, but without having any Templars either. You know, it just doesn't feel right. It feels weird. So I definitely want to know what's up with the Templars. And number 5, I have the whole point of Alexios. According to what we see in the game, or what we know of the game, what happens is that in the beginning you can choose between Alexios and Cassandra, a male or a female. Initially, Layla's animus, she finds DNA, she puts it in the system, and it can't differentiate between male or female. So you make that decision. All right? Now, according to Ubisoft themselves, Cassandra is canon. Alexios is not. And that kind of makes it a missed opportunity, honestly. In fact, Cassandra is canon, but things that you do with Cassandra may not be canon. What they want you to do is they want you to go and read the Assassin's Creed Odyssey novelization, and that will actually give you the details as to what actually went down. You'll be able to see if, like, your choices were similar, if they, you know, were different, whatever. As you're playing the game, I really don't think it's going to affect it that much because, you know, I really believe that they're going to come to a solid end. They're going to come to a point where, you know, everything is tied neatly in a bow, and I believe that the only thing that's absolute irrefutable canon is going to be what goes on in the modern day. So everything that happens in the Animus is basically what you make of it. You know, some people are worried like, hey, that means that, you know, like you change history and everything like that. And, you know, that is kind of confusing, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. And, you know, people are not going to pay attention to, or the developers and the games going further are not going to pay attention to what happened in your game save or your game file. They're only going to pay attention to what they decide will be canon. So if you played Alexios and you got all the way to the end, when you get to the next game, you're going to find out that, you know, everything Alexios did was nothing. That it was all Cassandra. You know? So it's kind of weird that they would do that way. To me, the way I feel, it was an opportunity for them to actually have a game where the life is crazy extended because you are able to play through the eyes of both Alexios and Cassandra. If you're playing a game through Alexios' eyes, then maybe his story is that he was mistaken for the descendant of Leonidas, and he really wasn't. You know, and then if you play the story through Cassandra's eyes, she actually is the granddaughter of Leonidas, and, you know, she actually has the spear of Leonidas. You know, you could have made some kind of major story. This game is supposed to have multiple endings, and, you know, it's all based on choices, and this would have been something that they could have done that would have extended the life of the game. Right, and yet they didn't take that opportunity. So, you know, I kind of feel like that's, you know, that just wasn't the way to go. I kind of feel like they should have done something different with it. But once I get the game, I'll see what goes down. I'll see, you know, like how I feel about it after that. But, you know, again, missed opportunity. Some people aren't going to care. Some people are going to play Alexios regardless and, you know, do what they want, and the story is theirs. Some people are going to play Cassandra just because they want to keep canon, and, you know, that's all right too. There's no wrong way to play these games. But, you know, like I say, it was just a very missed opportunity. They had the opportunity to actually make 2 games in one and really, really extend the life of this, but, you know, they decided not to. It was something totally different. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how they go about doing this. And I really hope that maybe, you know, in future DLCs or something like that, that we find out that there was an Alexios or Cassandra, if you picked Alexios, and what their story was. Because I think that would be cool. You know? As it stands right now, I think it's kind of goofy the way they did it. So we'll see what happens next. coming in at number 4, I have the whole Isu tech thing. So in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Layla is searching for Isu tech. Now, that's the first civilization technology. Why is she searching for it? I mean, it's entirely possible that she's searching for it because the voices in the machine, when she went to certain tombs, actually pointed out, you know, different and fantastic things to her. So maybe that's why she's searching for the Isu technology. Okay? But I need to know why, you know, is she going on this path? You know, why does she even care? Is it because she wants to further her own scientific curiosity, or, you know, just unlock more secrets and stuff like that? From what we understood, she was just really headstrong and wanted to be on the Animus project. She wanted to, you know, help build an Animus. She wanted to dive into an Animus, and, you know, Sophia Ricken would not let her do it. So she ended up building her own Animus, which is the Animus that we see now. So now, what does she have as far as belief to trust that Bayek's DNA is a conduit through which she is speaking to Isu from the past? If those Isu in all those temples, when Bayek unlocked those temples using the silica, if he operated those machines, he obviously saw them. If he operated those machines and he actually heard words and voices, maybe they were in English or something because he couldn't understand them, and Layla understands them, thinking that Bayek hears it. Not unlike what happened with Ezio and Desmond, where they didn't speak to Ezio, they spoke through Ezio. And even Ezio was confused as to what was going on. You know, I really want to know why she's going out on a limb to find this Isu technology. Does she have the help from the assassins? Are the assassins worried that she's going to use this to, like, get back at Abstergo or get back into Abstergo? You know, what is the bottom line? I think it's an interesting storyline. It's not really a problem. It's just something that piques my curiosity, and I would like to see what's going on. I would like to see how that pans out. I think that that would be absolutely amazing to see her unravel Isu technology in, you know, the past and in the present day. I think that that would just be, like, really cool. But we'll see what happens. You know, hopefully it's something, like, really cool, especially if they're going to give us about, you know, 30 hours of all kinds of present-day, modern-time interaction. So we'll see what happens then. And hopefully it's really, really cool.
I can take him down.
At number 3, and yes, I'm going to go there for number 3. The whole choice system in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I mean, you know, it can be written off like, you know, Bayek could have, you know, killed this Phalakite, or he could have killed a different Phalaki. He could have killed one of the people on his list, or he could have killed another person on his list. And that goes back all the way to the original Assassin's Creed game, where Altair could have went, you know, to Acre, or he could have went to Jerusalem. He could have made whatever choice he wanted to, and it's a possibility. It's in the realm of possibility that he might have done that, or he might not have done that. He might have done it a different way. So, you know, that kind of canon, some people, they write that off. It's whatever. All right? But in Odyssey, these choices are not that simple. In Odyssey, these choices aren't, you know, he could have just went here or he could have just went there. The game, the outcome of the game changes with entire lists of options and things that you do. It's entirely possible to, you know, just alter the entire course of the story with just a few choices. And to a lot of people, that is mind-boggling. How do you do that? You can alter the history of what happens in the game several times throughout the game. You could, let's say there's 4 different endings. You'd have to play 4 different times to get all those endings and do certain criteria in order to see any of those endings. Okay? The canon will be what we read in the book. But the thing is, how are we able to make such a time-changing choice that it would alter the entire timeline of the person's life in the game? And I know some people say, well, you know, when you do it, you know, you get to the end, you know, let's say you just happen to look into a book, and that's the story that happened. That's exactly the way it went down. Okay? The choices that you made. And then if you played it a different way, you went to a history book, and that's exactly the way it went down. Nothing actually changed. You played it the way it was supposed to happen. Okay? Yeah, I could see that with the Assassin's Creed games, but Odyssey really blows the lid off of that. And it's weird, and I really need to know how they're going to explain these choices. How is Layla's animus so special, so incredible, so unique, that certain points in time she can just alter with no problem? That I gotta see. And that hopefully we'll find out. Hopefully those questions will be answered. Again, not a deal breaker for this game. Just something to sate my own curiosity. At number 2, and this is big, the spear itself. How did Leonidas obtain it? Amongst other questions. You know, some people have speculated that the spear eventually becomes the hidden blade, but that's probably not true because, you know, there's no record canonically of Alexios or Cassandra actually creating the hidden blade. Okay? So I believe it will remain a spear. But, you know, a lot of questions. How did Leonidas obtain the spear? You know, did he find it? Was it, you know, a prize from battle? Was it gifted to him? You know, did just some Isu come out of nowhere, come up to him and say, "Have at you, my Spartan," and just start like battling him, and he won it as a prize? Like, what happened? How did he get this spear? And then, how, if he had this spear with such power, and you know, it's a piece of Eden, even though he doesn't realize it's a piece of Eden, how did he fail at the Battle of 300? How did that happen? You know, on top of that, how did the spear get back to his daughter, who passed it on to Alexios or Cassandra? There's a lot of questions there. I mean, you know, somehow this spear, he had to have come into contact with it. He had to keep it. It had to get back and, you know, be passed down. So there are a lot of questions about it, as well as its special properties, which we'll discover the special properties as we play the game. But one thing I'm really confused about is how on earth, and in this game, you know, it's possible in the game, in Odyssey, that you can take the spear and you could actually upgrade it. How on earth is there anybody in 431 BCE Greece who knows how to take a piece of ancient technology that's also, you know, well beyond their years or beyond their capabilities of science? How does somebody know how to take this item and upgrade it into something else? You know, you now have a Leonidas spear +1. Like, who does that? Who has this ability? Put that person on the payroll. Unless it's like, you know, an oracle or something like that, which there were oracles, according to legends, in Greece. So maybe it is an oracle that does it. But we'll find out. And that's just another crazy question that I have in regards to what's going on with this sphere. And just to let you know, at number 1 is Leonidas himself. I want to know, first of all, I found out that he has a voice actor in the game. Somebody is the voice of Leonidas. Okay? So, is it going to be a flashback scene? Are we just going to hear some kind of, disembodied voice that guides us or something like that? Is it going to be something goofy like that? Is it going to be just CGI or cutscenes and stuff like that? Or are we actually going to play as Leonidas himself? A couple of people would actually love to see that we play as Leonidas in the beginning of the game at the Battle of 300, which would actually be really awesome if they could pull that off. Now, I don't have any delusions that we're going to play as Leonidas for like half the game. I know that's not going to happen. But come on, give us some Leonidas. Give us some gameplay with him. Let us, experience things through his eyes in his lifetime. That would be cool. It would just actually be really awesome. It would add a lot to the game. And, I think it would be a lot of fun. I would love to see something like that. And a lot of other people would love to see that as well. So, what's going on? Are we going to see Leonidas? Are we going to play as him? If we're going to play as him, I want some really bulky and beefy, battle sequences. I don't want some stupid boat sequences like they gave us with Aya. That was just trash. Or like some little, side quest thing. Or some little, nonsense. I want, an actual, full-on, real crazy quest, or 2, or 5, involving Leonidas. I think that would be awesome. I think that it would bring a lot to the table that is Assassin's Creed Origins. If they're going to give me some little crappy, a battle sequence here and there and everything, no thank you. That's just going to be stupid. We wanted a lot more for Aya in Assassin's Creed Origins, and we absolutely did not get that. So it would just be nice if they listened to us and they went with what we wanted, and we actually got some more playtime with a character that we would love to play as, that we would love to see. So hopefully they let us play as Leonidas, even if it's just a mission or 2 or 5, as long as it's like a really, really just awesome mission, and it's not like some quick little 5-second nonsense, or some boat thing, or whatever nonsense they gave us with Aya. Let's get some real bulky missions in, and I think that would be awesome. So anyway, that's my list for now. Those are the top 10 things that I want to see, or questions that I have, things that I have questions about, and hopefully they're answered in Odyssey. Do you agree with any of them? Is there anything that I might have missed? Do you have questions of your own? Leave them in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you thought any of those points were valid. If you thought the same. If you had any similar questions. Or let me know if you have anything different to say. Alright? Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And as always, thank you for watching.